Welcome back. Again, we are in Decatur, Illinois at the Farm Progress Show site, kicking off our 2011 Farm Progress Show preview series brought to you by Syngenta. Again, our thanks to John Bannon with the Central Illinois Food Bank for joining us, and we're very happy to present, thanks to Syngenta, $500 to the Central Illinois Food Bank. If you want to learn more about the work of the Central Illinois Food Bank, just go to their website, www.central, well, better spell it out, centralilfoodbank.org. These websites sometimes get a little confusing, but if you go to Central Illinois Food Bank, you'll get there. They are connected and work with the Feeding America program that we like to talk a lot about too. So again, all donations would be greatly appreciated. We'll be making a couple of other presentations throughout the course of the spring and summer. All right. Spring, I don't know what's happened there. Summer, we're hopeful it'll be here one of these days. We're talking to Matt Jungmann, who is the National Events Manager for Farm Progress. Good to see you again. This seems like last time we were here in the spring at Decatur. We should point out, and you've been reminding me, even though we've had wet springs here before, we had a good show in the fall, so that's what we're hoping.
That's exactly right. This will be our fourth pass through Decatur, and we have yet to have a rain day in Decatur. You know, we've been to Boone twice, and it's been wet both times, and it has yet to be wet here. So hopefully this bodes well for a good show. I know you'll talk to David in a little bit about the field demonstration crops, but from inside the fence, from the exhibit field standpoint, it's already shaping up to be a fantastic event. Oh, we're sold out with 28 companies on the waiting list trying to get in, so it's already a success this early on.
You said the fourth time at this site. It's amazing how much has changed since that first one.
That's exactly right, and I'll tell you that to come back here, it's kind of like coming back to home. This is the first one that we built, and you know, you drive into these nice asphalt roads, and it's a beautiful facility even when it's empty like it is today. And the expansion, the investments that the exhibitors have made, like the building that we're sitting in and the John Deere gravel across the road, and just all the investments that the exhibitors make are what makes the show fresh and new every year.
And whether it's the site in Boone or the site here, the reason you went to these two permanent sites is this very thing. You didn't want weather wiping out all that investment and time that people and exhibitors have put into.
Well, that's exactly right. And back to 2005, you know, the best thing that could happen is you invest $6 million in storm sewer drainage and never use it. And that's exactly what's happened here in Decatur. It's never been used. And it demonstrated itself really well last year in Boone when we had that big rain on Tuesday night, that if we were still in the middle of a cornfield, it would have wiped that show out. But we're fortunate that we were in a facility that could handle the rain, and we were able to have a Wednesday, Thursday of that show.
Obviously, it's a huge commitment by the exhibitors, but a lot of other people put in a lot of time and effort throughout the course of the year to get ready for the show, and you want to make sure that all that's not down the drain.
Well, that's exactly right, and it, you know, we leave for 23 months, and you know, our partner here at Richland Community College and our host farmers and all those folks are keeping an eye on it and keeping the maintenance up on it, keeping it in good shape, so that literally every time we've come back to Decatur, it's a better facility than when we left. So it continues to get better and better every time.
How concerned do you get, and thinking back to a couple years ago, you get a late start and you're kind of under that time crunch anyway because you want crops ready to harvest at showtime, which is end of August. That kind of pushes it up already, so it kind of puts a squeeze on you there.
Well, we're fortunate when we're in Decatur and you have that. When we're in Boone, Iowa, we're far enough north that we're planting 78-day corn and we get it in as early as we can. We have a little bit of flexibility here in Decatur where if we keep getting rained out, we can change the hybrids a little bit and still time up well for the end of August. But yeah, I mean, not only do we want a good crop for the demonstrations, but we want it to be the right moisture. And so you're not only trying to hit a good crop, you're trying to time it so that it works well for the field demonstrations, because there is going to be a lot of equipment unveiled to the public for the first time, and they're trucking two of those new combines in here and two of those new tillage tools. One pretty one to sit on the lot and one to go out and get dusty in the fields.
We're talking with Matt Jungmann, National Events Manager for Farm Progress here at the Farm Progress Show site in Decatur, Illinois. We've talked about the improvements. Those are ongoing improvements here at the show site, here and at Boone.
That's exactly right. You know, just even today, talking with Bo, who's our contact here with Richland, about 3 companies that are talking about putting up buildings and different companies that are wanting to do things to make their exhibit better when the show comes around. And it has to work into their program too, because we want to make sure that when we leave, it's still a useful facility for the community. So a lot of conversation with exhibitors. That's what you spend most of the winter months, is working with the exhibitors to to put the groundwork in place so that those 3 days of the show, they're able to get everything done that they want to do.
Any changes planned for this year's show?
Well, as I mentioned, you know, with the wait list that we have, and as many folks as we have coming, we've shuffled a few things around so that we can accommodate just as much as we can here on the exhibit field. Most of it'll be behind the scenes, kind of seamless, that the visitors won't notice. But working on bringing in a lot of new things that we can't quite announce yet. I think as we go through this series, and I should put my thanks into Syngenta for sponsoring this. It's always nice to come on with you guys and have an opportunity to talk about the show this far out. There are a lot of things in motion, so as we go through the summer and we do more of these, we'll be talking about new things each time we get together.
Which is a good point to make, in that you are constantly working and reaching out to your partners, your exhibitors, and others that can help you put something new or something different that will add to each show.
Well, that's most of the new things that are unveiled at the show are brought to us by the exhibitors. You know, they'll come to us with some crazy idea that they want to do, and we'll figure out a way to make it work so it's fair to everybody, but get them the exposure they're looking for. So it's, you know, it's all the hard work that they're doing to make sure they're attracting the customers they want to talk to, and we're just the vehicle. We certainly want to be the behind the scenes that make it happen and put the exhibitors on the stage.
Now, kind of give us an idea how this plays out between now and the end of August.
Between now and the end of August, you know, our big focus right now is getting the map built. We have to have, you know, get that exhibit field put together and fit everybody in that we possibly can. Get the crops in. You know, those are the two big things right now. And then you go to work through the summer months of putting all the plant pieces in place, you know, whether it be tents or restrooms or volunteer groups or food stands, or all those, you know, traffic, all those mechanical things that are behind the scenes. Have all those meetings, get all those things locked in, and then and then about August 1st, you stop talking about it and you start doing it. You start implementing all the things you've worked all year on.
There's a lot to do, but I keep thinking back to the days before you had the permanent site and how much different it is now than it was then.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, we were just worried about getting electricity out there and getting the mechanicals of the exhibit field built. And the funny thing is, we thought that our lives would get easier with these permanent sites, but we just end up focusing in and spending time on the things that we didn't used to be able to even worry about. Now we can focus on the finer points of the event and make sure that those go better.
You know, a few years ago when you moved it up a month, basically, there was some question whether or not that would work. I think that has worked out very well.
Well, it certainly has, and it adds a little bit of stress here in the spring when you want to be sure that the crops are ready to go. But the purpose of the event is to put farmers in here and have them make sure they're having conversations with these growers. And you know, if farmers are looking at a field full of soybeans that are ready to go versus going to the show, you know what they're going to do. They're going to stay home. But if we can time the show where they still get the same experience, and it's not in the middle of their payday, that has certainly paid off. So it's something that we're very satisfied with, and to time it up so that we're always the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before Labor Day. And then we get a 2-week break before we kick off Husker Harvest Days 2 weeks later. Gives everybody a comfortable chance to get out of here, get moved over to Grand Island, set up, and ready to go for the next event.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Husker. How are plans going for that?
Husker's going very well. We are adding another street. This will be the third expansion in 5 years at Husker Harvest Days. We just continue to sell out there. The field demonstration crops are all planted. Everything's in the ground. Host Farmer did a great job out there working with Farmers National and the landowner. Everything's in the ground, ready to go. You know, I wish it was up and I wish everything started, but everybody listening to us is wishing for some dry and some heat. So, but in terms of the things that we can control are in good shape for both shows right now.
I've seen you a number of times throughout the winter at various farm shows and events, and you like to go around and stay in touch with your exhibitors, and you also like to pick up maybe some ideas for the show, don't you?
That's exactly right. You know, at when we're working at Farm Progress Show and Husker Harvest Days, you don't actually get an opportunity to see the event. So I like to see the other events, and you don't get to spend the time with the exhibitors that we work with. So it's nice to go around and spend a little bit of time with them. That's when you have the conversations about the things that they want to do new this year. And you know, as kind of a farmer at heart, I like to just go and see the events and kick tires just with everybody else.
So it should be an even bigger show this year, it sounds.
It is already a bigger show than the 2009 show, and we had things lined up a lot like 2011 in 2009. We had a little bit of a delay and a cool summer, and nobody was even thinking about being in the field when the show came off. So that, along with great weather, the 3 days of the event led to a huge crowd in 2009, and we're on a pace for that again this year.
Yeah, thinking back, and sometimes the years are starting to blend together. This will be my 35th Farm Progress show, so they're starting to kind of mix together. But I do remember the 3 days of the show here 2 years ago in Decatur probably had to be as good a 3 days of weather that the show's ever enjoyed.
That would have been that Thursday afternoon would have been the day to retire, because the problem is that when you get done with that good of a show, the problem is you have to go out and beat it, and that was a pretty high bar to clear. So you know, we're certainly proud of that event, and there's enough new stuff going on for 2011 that there's plenty of good reasons to be here.
Real quick, there are ways to see online what's going on here. How do they do that?
Exactly right. FarmProgressShow.com, HuskerHarvestDays.com. You can keep abreast of all the new things that are coming down the line. There will be announcements coming out as we go. Be sure to take advantage of those too. Buy your tickets online, do all those kind of things. Show dates, August 30, 31, and September 1st.
Gee, when I started, I sound old. When I started covering this show, we didn't even know what the internet was, or at least I didn't, you know, and now we're doing all those kind of things. Amazing. We'll see you often between now and August. Let's hope for some good weather.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Mike.
Matt Jungmann, National Events Manager for Farm Progress. Good thing Mike Bryan's here so I don't feel so old. He always makes me feel a lot younger, you know. He barely remembers. Well, I won't even get into that. All right, coming up next, host farmer David Bricks will talk about planting in this area. That's next. Stay with us. This is AgriTalk.